Take that.
Hey, welcome in to Feldco Bears Recap Live with Olin Kreutz, Tom Waddle. I'm David Kaplan. Tonight we will talk about the Bears' loss to the Saints, a game with 5 turnover differential. They still were in at the end. And then Carolina Panthers roll in on Thursday night. But let's start with our Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric game breakdown as we look at the 24-17 loss for all the right reasons. Four Seasons. All right, Tommy, I'm starting with you this week. 24-17, 5 turnovers, 0 takeaways, and yet late fourth quarter, they still had a chance to drive this thing down and tie the football game. What was your takeaway of the loss?
Well, I think you nailed it. It's the self-destructive behavior. Once again, we talked about it last week against the Los Angeles Chargers. We talked about it quite a bit over the course of this entire season. 5 turnovers, 8 penalties, compared to the Saints not turning it over a single time, and the Saints committing 1 penalty. And as you mentioned, Cap, like despite all of that, because the defense continued to play, the Bears still had an opportunity late in that game. I think maybe the craziest stat I heard, or the craziest fact I heard, Olin, coming out of this game, in the fourth quarter, every single play that the New Orleans Saints ran, they ran on the Bears side of the 50-yard line. They ran it from Bears territory. There were 5 drives in the fourth quarter from the Saints. Every play started in Bears territory, and all the Saints could come up with 7 points. So in a self-destructive environment, I do give the Bears defense some credit for giving them an opportunity to actually stay in that game and actually tie it.
OG, your thoughts. What did you see?
I kept thinking about Tom warning us. He warned us when they gave Bajan the job that this guy is not a game manager, right? That he is going to try to make plays and at some point try to do too much. And I remember Tom kept telling us that at Shepherd College, he wasn't a game manager, right? And it looked like Getsy kind of fell in love and said, man, we could win the game on this kid's right arm. And it just seemed like they forgot what the score actually was. Right, that they were only down by 7, and he did make those critical mistakes. And it wasn't only him. DJ Moore gets the ball punched out. You know, there were other guys making mistakes, but the Saints go. They give them cover 1 early in the game, and all those mesh routes are really confusing them. And then they go to this zone and they drop 8, and they're going to make Bajan fit into these tiny holes that we know in the NFL are hard to do. So when you watch the Chicago Bears, though, on the defense side of the ball, as Tom talked about, they gave him a chance to win. I thought Montez Sweat actually made a difference in the game. I thought they gave him a chance to play coverage. He put some pressure on Carr, and I thought that at one point I imagine Eberflus must have had a sigh of relief when he called coverage and somebody actually hit the quarterback's arm. But the Bears just aren't talented enough, we know, to overcome 5 turnovers, Cap.
You know what? I'd like to build on what Olin said, too, with Tyson Bagent. My biggest concern with him wasn't that he didn't understand the position or he wasn't up for the step up in class in terms of being able to handle the enormity of it all, the big stage and the bright lights. My concern was always that maybe he wasn't ready for the step up in class in terms of talent. I mean, there was one play where a linebacker ran him down. Linebackers in the NFL run sub 4.7. They run 4.6. Maybe some run, low 4.6s or even the high 4.5s. And cornerbacks close very, very quickly in this league. And I thought the 3 interceptions that he threw were all examples of his inexperience and him not at this point early in his career being able to handle that step up in class. The first interception he threw, he got baited by a very good corner in Adebo. He didn't really recognize what was going on. Adebo staring at his eyes. And Tyson staring down. Cole Kmet tries to fit that throw in, and the more experienced, savvy cornerback makes a play. The second interception, he reads the play right. He looks to his right, doesn't see what he likes, so he quickly comes to his left. Once you see Darnell Mooney on that slant route, A, you got to let it go quick, and B, it's got to be going 115 miles per hour. And I think we saw in that particular play a lack of arm strength that may be something he's going to have to learn to deal with. Now, Mooney needs to flatten that route a little bit more. And then the third one was him trying to play hero ball. Tyler Scott's not open. The better read is in the slot. Darnell Mooney's matched up with a linebacker running a seam down the line of scrimmage. And So I guess the moral of the story, guys, for me is that, like, I thought for the first 3 quarters of the game, the kid played well. I mean, the first interception happens in the first half, but he helped pilot them to 250 yards and 14 points in the first half, and it just went sideways in the fourth quarter for the reasons Olin pointed out.
He had a passer rating of 124 at the end of the third quarter. He finished.
And I gotta say, I think that over the course of time, he will, Olin, learn to have to dial it back. And he'll learn that Shepherd University is a far cry from the NFL. So use what you do really, really well, which is know what you're looking at, reading the defense, getting the ball out quick, but get rid of some of the hero plays that you were inclined to try to draw up and execute at a lower level. And I think that that's all a matter of experience. I'm not making excuses for him. At the end of the day, he has to own all 4 turnovers. But I think that there are signs to me. I think the kid's going to be in the league a very long time. He may be primarily a backup for 10 or 12 years, but I think the kid is an NFL player. Do I think he's going to be a difference-making starting quarterback in the league? I don't think so, but I won't put any artificial ceiling on him. But the kid knows how to play the position. Now he's just got to learn how to function inside an arena where everything is moving 10 times faster than he's used to it moving.
Yeah, it's okay to punt, right? It's okay to punt.
Yes.
And to your guys' point, when you're watching him play and when you go through the all-22, I can't find many times. I don't think I found once really in this game that he made the wrong choice at the line of scrimmage. By that, I mean, I didn't think he ever checked to the wrong play. I didn't think he ever kept the ball in zone read when he shouldn't have. I didn't ever think he gave it to the back when he shouldn't have. I think he makes the right choice. It's just kind of learning his limitations in the NFL. Will he ever, right? And that's why we're saying, Tom's saying he's going to have a long career. As long you can't turn the ball over. He keeps turning the ball over, he won't, right? But then again, I mean, Nate Peterman's still here, and he turns the ball over. You know, there's not very many quarterbacks, right? Guys who can play quarterback, who can operate at that level. I thought he did a nice job, man. I was extremely impressed for the first 3 quarters on the road in a very hard place to play against a very good defense corner. I will say this, Cap. I thought Getsy had his worst quarter I've seen in a long time in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he was asked about that today. We'll get to it. It's time for Winging It, brought to you by Westtown Bakery in Wheeling, corner of Milwaukee and Lake Cook, and their OK Dispensary, also located at Lake Cook and Milwaukee. Here's the numbers of Tyson Bagent: 18 of 30, 220 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, both to Cole Kmet, one a sensational catch, the first one, and 3 of those interceptions, and then also had a ball knocked out, fumbled, effectively ending the Bears' chances late. And by the way, with Thanksgiving right around the corner, they have an amazing bakery. I was there today. In fact, the OG got some treats for his family today. Let me tell you something, 20% off if you walk in and say, REKAP. They're incredible. That discount works for anything you get at Westtown Bakery, as well as OK Cannabis Dispensary, located at the corner of Lake Cook and Milwaukee as well. But their pies for Thanksgiving are ridiculous. Okay, so we don't know yet who's going to play on Thursday. Eberflus has not committed. Tommy, you were at Hallis today. Olin, you did your post-game show on Sunday. Do you think either of you think Justin plays? He's still been limited. Something tells me he's not going to play against Carolina. What do you guys think?
If I had to make a guess, my guess would be no. And the reason is because, look, I'll take a step back and say there's no protecting anybody here. If you can grip the football and rip every throw that you're supposed to throw, he's going to play. Like, he wants to play. He's a competitor. I want to see him play. But if you can't grip the football because you dislocated the thumb on your throwing hand, and it affects the way you spin the ball, then you can't play. It doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do the team any good. And I'll tell you, if I was him, and if I was his representation, I would say, look, it's not a sign of a lack of courage or a lack of desire.
Right, of weakness.
If in fact you decide, look, I can't throw. I mean, he's still being evaluated by this team and the rest of the league. If he goes out there and can't grip a football and can't throw it well, he's going to put bad tape on film, and it's going to affect his career at this point. Now, look, I know he's wired to want to go out and play every single down, but you're talking about the thumb on your throwing hand, for crying out loud. So my guess is that,
Right.
if you can't make every throw now, it's Tuesday, you're not going to be able to make them on Thursday. So just give it a little extra time and get ready to play the Detroit Lions a week from Sunday.
Olin, watching that game, I was the player I was most impressed with on either side of the football was Tevin Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
And now when I don't always trust that he's going to be able to play through the nagging injuries that a guy like you or some of your teammates have learned through your 13-year career to play through. But boy, oh boy, when this kid is out there and he feels good, man, he is a road grader out there, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think anybody questions when Tevin's on the field what he looks like, right? Especially against maybe D tackles who aren't really good D tackles. Like we'll see him coming up this week. He'll have a better matchup, right? But when Tevin Jenkins rolls off the ball, when he is hitting guys, and it seems like at guard, when he is playing at a high level at guard, he is playing at all-pro level. And he did that this week. And he had pancakes. I mean, they were moving the line of scrimmage. There were times I was yelling obscenities at my TV because I get excited about a line player. Right? I was like, that's right, you mother. I mean, it was great to watch those guys move guys off the ball. It was fun, man. It really was fun to watch a Bears O-line do that. And Tevin Jenkins, like you're saying, Cap, healthy, right? If I'm Ryan Poles, man, I am down in the weight room. I am talking to my strength coach. I am talking to my trainers about how we're keeping this guy healthy and playing at this level. I'm holding guys accountable in Halisaw and saying, look, this guy, I'm showing them the film. I say, look, these two guys, Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright, we want to lean on these two guys. They are playing high-level football. They can move guys off the ball. We can win games with just this. I have to keep this guy healthy. Tell me how's he doing. How does he look on Wednesday? What are we looking for to know that we can keep this young man on the field playing at this level? Because, Cap, like you're saying, that was one of the first all-pro performances I've seen on the Bears' offensive side of the ball in a long time.
Yeah, he looked out.
I'm sorry, DJ Moore did do it. I'm talking about offensive line. I'm talking about in the trenches.
Yeah, in the trenches. And I keep thinking, I keep going back to this, guys, that if they can go get the right guy in the middle at center, because I think Lucas Patrick, again, I never played center in the NFL. I never will, but I think he's awful. Snaps are up here, and he's getting blown back. And look, go get the right freaking center here. Put him in the middle as an anchor with those two dudes. The right side of my line looks pretty freaking good.
Yeah, I mean, they could use an all-pro center, but so could a lot of teams, right? And I keep telling people, what they pay Lucas Patrick is what you're getting there at the center position, right? It's not an all-pro level. It's not Pro Bowl type level. It's not even above average right now. But he is doing about, I think he's giving $4 million a year. I'll keep repeating, the top center in the league makes 16 or 17. So that's what you're getting the difference there. So, but you're right, Cap. They've let some young centers go. They haven't gone after a free agency. They let Sam Mustipher, their center from last year, go, and they've gone with Lucas Patrick there in the middle of that line. They can upgrade that spot. I thought Braxton looked all right coming back for his first game back. I think Cody Whitehair, he's a guy to watch, man. I don't know, I don't know what level he's playing at anymore. But that right side of that line, what you're watching over there, those guys developing, what those guys did to the New Orleans Saints, Tom. I can't tell you how excited I was watching that game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what the hell I'm looking at most of the time when it comes to the offensive line play. But when I see Tevin Jenkins playing, he plays with an edge. When I see, look, I still think Darnell Wright, to me, looks like he's playing with one arm half the time as well and still moving people. And then you put Mercedes Lewis at 512 years old next to those guys. But with all due respect to Mercedes, he moves people. Like, he's one of the best blocking tight ends, especially at his age, that I've seen in a long time. So it's fun to watch him run the football. And you know what? They gave Deontay Foreman the ball again this week. 20 carries, something I think they got away from despite being down. Just because you get behind in a game doesn't mean you have to completely abandon the running game. And I thought they were too quick to get away from the running game last week against the Chargers. This week, obviously, they stayed in the game throughout, and they got a ton from their running game again. And it's who they are. They run the football well, and hopefully one of these quarterbacks will step up coming up shortly.
I also thought Jack Sanborn played really well. I thought he was flying around. I'm watching the tape, and maybe I don't know what I'm looking at, but I like that dude. 57. Now, maybe 57 is one of my favorite numbers, that and 87. But he looked good, man. Didn't you guys think?
You're a Tom Fair fan, huh? That's awesome, man.
And Emory Moorhead.
And Emory Moorhead. Yeah, exactly.
And Moose Muhammad, huh?
Yes.
That's it. Didn't you think he played well?
If you're asking me, yes. I thought he was impressive, man. I thought he was coming downhill. I thought he was hitting people. I thought he was reducing. By that, I mean dropping that shoulder under blockers. He stopped a couple powers, beat Cesar Ruiz, made a tackle in the flat on Juwan Johnson. I mean, he played a really good game, and he kept showing up, and he kept showing up violently, right? He would show up with intentions, like bad intentions to hit guys. He has developed his game. He is not obviously Tremaine Edmonds. He doesn't have the kind of speed, that kind of height, that kind of length. But for a guy when you can come in and get that kind of production from your backup middle linebacker, I know he starts as Sam when they're in the regular defense, but when he can go Sam, he can play him at Mike. I'm sure if TJ Edwards went down, they're moving the wheel. I mean, this guy, Tom, has really developed himself into a guy who's probably going to play 10, 15 plus years.
I thought he was excellent last year when they moved on from Roquan and they inserted him in that spot. Look, he's not Roquan, but for my money, I thought he was as impressive as anyone they had on the defense in the second half of the season. Again, it's not an above average defense, but I just love seeing guys that everyone has overlooked and them getting in the weight room and doing whatever it takes to become a difference maker and getting out there and proving to people that, he's an NFL caliber linebacker. And I'm with you, Olin. I think that kid can play for 10 years in this league, continuing to do what he's doing. Like, he may never go to a Pro Bowl, may never go. But to me, he's the type of guy you want on your team. He's one of 53 guys that I'll always go to bat with.
Did you guys see the quote? You mentioned Roquan Smith. Did you see his quote today? Oh, my God. He said
he was happy. He didn't ruin his career.
Yeah, and when I think about it from the perspective of having the opportunity to compete for 1 year in and year out with the talent we have here, man, it makes me so happy just knowing my career is not going down the drain in Chicago in the sense of playing somewhere where I'm not truly going to compete for a championship. Wow, that stings.
It hurts, man. But you lose 17 of the last 19. It's hard to argue with him, right? It's
right.
Just, I don't know. It hurts to hear. I mean, look, we do analyst work for the Bears. Gosh, sometimes I'm looking at my papers like, what the hell am I going to talk about tonight? I mean, we're going down the alley of what's wrong with them. You're just trying to find positives like Tevin Jenkins, Darnell Wright, right? Jack Sanborn, guys who can help them change the direction. But as far as somebody saying that after seeing all the losing, I hope that pisses people off at Hallis Hall, right? I hope that makes them mad. I hope they want to turn it around. I hope that gives them an edge. I hope it forces them to do the right things to win football games.
Let me give you some numbers, guys, just because I hate to just pound on them and only be negative. But on that topic, and people always say, why can't we see progress, or why aren't we seeing progress? Think of these numbers. I was just doing a little bit of work earlier today, and we'll start with discipline. The Bears lead the league with 18 turnovers. There's only 5 teams in the league that have fewer takeaways. They have 9. Their -9 turnover ratio is the worst in the National Football League.
That's correct.
With 4 other teams, the Bears are tied for the most penalties in the league with 60. So in 2 really discipline-oriented categories, they're dead last, tied for dead last with 60 committed penalties. They're a -9 turnover ratio. And when you talk about the battle at the line of scrimmage, which I will argue is the most important battle, snap in and snap out, they have 10 sacks. They've given up 30. They're a -20 net sacks, and they were -37 last year. So if you ask me, why is this team not making a whole lot of progress? I'll start with the lack of discipline. And again, they're playing a rookie quarterback right now who's played loose and careless with the football in recent games. But you're a -9 turnover rate, and you've committed 60 penalties. And to me, that answers a lot of the questions as to why they're 2-7 and why they've only won 5 games in the last 2 years, and why the progress isn't nearly as impressive or nearly as prevalent as it should be right now. And look, the penalties were something that weren't a huge issue for this team last year. I gave Matt Eberflus a ton of credit last year for maybe his team was undermanned, but they played hard and they didn't commit a lot of penalties. That's changed. That's a lack of progress. In fact, that's a regression. They've committed 60 penalties so far. It's not good.
All right, let's do our Dr. Pepper play of the game, and would love to get your guys' thoughts on this. It's the play where DJ Moore put the ball on the deck. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. But that fumble, the Bears were out to the 40-yard line and driving in a tie football game in the second half. And I know he's a human being, and it happens. It just happened at a really shitty time for the Bears because that ball got peanut punched out, Olin. And the next thing you know, they're kicking a field goal to take the lead. And I thought the Bears were going down the field to score another touchdown.
Yeah, you just expect him to be Superman every week, right, Tom? You expect no mistakes. You expect him to catch that ball in the corner of the end zone, and it's a tough catch. But it's like, DJ Moore, we need you to be a multiplier. We need you to do this for us. Especially we can't fumble that in the middle of the field. We blame Peanut, right? Peanut shouldn't be teaching people this punch. They taught everybody, and everybody does it now. But the guy makes a great play on the ball. You got to hold on to that ball. You got to expect him to punch it out. They were going for it all game. And they get DJ Moore with that one. And the thing is, like, it's always details. And like Tom is saying, again, even your best player fumbling the ball in the middle of the field when we're driving, when the game is tied, it just kills you, man.
All right. That is our play of the game brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Our player of the game we gave, Olin, I took your advice. I'm going to be positive. Instead of giving it to the defensive back with 2 picks and a forced fumble, I went Cole Kmet. 55 yards, 6 catches on 8 targets, 2 touchdowns. And the first one, holy shit, he looked like me in Division III diving in the end zone there. I'm kidding. That was.
I want to see film of that. I need to see evidence of that.
Yeah.
Cap, I'm sure you dominated, man.
Oh, I did, man. Those fraternity games were big time. That catch he made on the first touchdown was freaking ridiculous.
Yeah. And Tom, I mean, the sell he had on the second one, right? Yeah. They sell play action. Great setup by Getsy. He kind of knew what defense they were going to be in. Number 53, the linebacker, had a man-to-man. He sold the block and he left. But, Cap, the thing I liked about that is we talked about undercover MVP Cole Kmet the last 2 or 3 weeks. I like that they design plays to give a guy a couple touchdowns, Tom, that had blocked, had done all the little things for weeks. Now let's showcase him, because now you're teaching, we talk about culture. Now you're teaching your team what you're about. Do the right things, do the little things we ask, and then we'll feature you.
Yeah, you go back, what was it, 3 weeks ago? He was held catchless against, I think, the Vikings. And then the last 2 weeks, he had, 10 catches and 6 catches. So he's had 16 catches.
16 for 134 and 2 tutties.
Listen, they extended him. They gave him a big bag of cash. So, they were expecting him to deliver. I like Cole a lot. I think another guy you want on your team. I'm not delusional. I don't think he does some of the things that Kittle does and Hawkinson does for the Minnesota Vikings and some of the other tight ends around the league that actually create a ton of separation and virtually play the wide receiver position in a tight end's body. That's just a different position. Cole's more, to me, of an inline tight end, a guy you use, very good in the red zone, very good in play action pass, but a kid that you want on your team, and I'm happy to see that he's doing well and he's contributing. I played with his dad. Frank was part of our squad years and years ago. So good family. Glad to see a good guy like Cole getting some quality run.
Hey, Dr. Pepper.
His uncle Zagonia, it was Montez Sweat's coach, right? Up there in Washington. So played against him too. Athletic family, man. Yeah.
Dr. Pepper's an American original, just like our Chicago Bears, pleasing your taste buds since 1885. Dr. Pepper has a unique combination of 23 flavors, a winning formula that football fans love. Grab an ice cold, refreshing Dr. Pepper today at a McDonald's near you. I went with cherry today, right there. Look at cherry. And my friends at Westtown, tiramisu my wife and I are going to split for dessert. How good is that?
Guy's the best. Cap, you're the best, man.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm going to go out there and have those treats you dropped off a little later.
There you go. They're delicious.
Kids love it.
By the way, Cole Kmet ranks 6th in the National Football League in catches among tight ends. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Again,
I'll tell you
not
another guy.
Hawkinson
I'm anxious to see what Tom thinks about. I think Mooney's coming alive.
Yeah.
Mooney's starting to look like he's getting all his speed. Like he looked fast this game.
Yeah, he had 82 yards, I think, OG.
I
5 for 82 with a long of 38.
I like him. I think he's got great wiggle. I think he's got good top-end speed. I think his size will always keep him, and lack of strength will keep him from being a 1. But you can live with him. If I've got DJ and I got a productive tight end, I'm going to need another receiver as well. But Darnell Mooney, to me, is a contributor on my team. Now, I would be sitting with him in meetings over the last 2 weeks because, I'm a stickler for this shit. But you got to stop drifting on your routes. Like you can't be doing some of this stuff. Against the Chargers, he drifts on a route, and the second interception is a direct result of him drifting on a route and then not catching a ball that was thrown in his body. This second interception that was thrown in New Orleans on Sunday, I would like to see him not drift a little bit. So it's the little things that drive me crazy at times because I didn't have his speed and his athletic ability, so I had to do the other shit correctly. But I do think that he's a kid. I'm not breaking the bank for him, but he's a kid I want on my team. This team is not talented enough to start subtracting players like Jalen Johnson and Darnell Mooney. You don't have to break the bank for these guys, but
they're getting Mooney done. He hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows?
He even said that yesterday to the media. He goes, "Look, they'll tag me if they have to, and then we'll work something out. But I can promise you,
I think they're
not letting me go.
If they're using
they'll tag Mooney.
No,
tag Johnson.
Oh, I got you. I'm sorry.
No, you said Mooney, Cap. That's what I said.
I meant Johnson. Johnson said yesterday, "I'm not going anywhere. Trust me."
This is my question, and Tom. I mean, DJ Moore fumbles. Mooney's floating on routes. Velus Jones. Does that room have a problem with details, with doing things the right way? Like Velus Jones, Pat Manley pointed out, is he supposed to bring that screen to Moore to make the block, right? He doesn't do a lot of little things right. Do you? I hate to ask the questions here, but I'm wondering now that you said that, do you see that in the wide receiver room when you watch film?
I think yes, you do, and it's something it's part of coaching. You know that, Olin, as a coach. Yeah. I mean, guys aren't going to be perfect. You just have to continually kind of harp on the things that the details really get you beat at times. Some of these guys are so talented that they ignore some of the details because they can get by on just the God's gifts that they have. They've been kissed by the football lords. But it's stuff that you have to harp on because even the guys that are most talented, they're going to find themselves and if your technique is bad, you're going to leave your quarterback hanging out to dry.
The Duke 0811
I knew you were going to read it.
Attaboy, Cap. Get Olin's weight up a bit. We need him back at center, and I'm sure George will up his offer to $22.50 an hour. I'll drop some of this tiramisu off. We'll have you ready by Thursday.
Think about that, right? Think about everything we talked about. Think about George's record since he took over. The maddest we've ever seen him is at me.
How much do you weigh now, Olin?
245.
So you only have to gain 60 pounds to get back out there.
Oh man, could you imagine taking a hit right now? I don't even know, man. I mean, I remember my last year in the league. Like, you ever play Mike Tyson's Punch Out? And somebody would get hit and the power goes down. I swear that's what it felt like during the game. It was like, and the harder hit I took, the more. I remember watching myself on film, guys. I think it was my last year with the Bears. We went to the NFC Championship game. I remember thinking at one point, who the fuck is that? That guy's terrible. I remember literally thinking that. It was me. I was like, holy crap. Who is that center?
Jason Kelsey said the other day, I can't do this much longer, man.
Those are big guys in the middle of that
underneath
line.
That tush push. It ain't easy. Holy cow. All right,
he does a good job.
He does. We're going to take a quick break. We will come back because I have a question for the two of you. I want you to play Ryan Poles. So we're going to talk to the guys about where the Bears are headed in advance of
Can I
Thursday's
drive his
game.
Bentley or no? Can I drive his Bentley?
You get his Mercedes G-Wagon.
I did it wrong. I'm sorry.
All right. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dad, we're running low.
We'll be all right.
What is going on here?
Insulation? I'm chilly.
I can't help you with a decoration, but I can help you replace these windows fast.
Right now, buy one window and you'll get one free. Plus, no interest until 2025. And we'll get it done Feldco fast.
Buy one window, get one free, and soon. Hurry. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Feldco Bears Recap Live is brought to you by Feldco, Chicago's home renewal experts. Call 866-4FELDCO. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. For all the right reasons, Four Seasons. Vienna Beef. Go to viennabeef.com and use code CAP23. That's KAP23 at checkout for 15% off your order today. And Dr. Pepper. Grab an ice-cold, refreshing Dr. Pepper today at a McDonald's near you. Westtown Bakery in Wheeling at the corner of Lake Cook Road and Milwaukee. Enjoy the best brunch Saturday and Sunday mornings. All right, so let's get back into this. If you guys were sitting in Ryan Pohl's chair, you were the GM. You got 8 games left. We don't know if Justin's going to play in the Carolina game or not. What are you evaluating, and what right now today are your thoughts? Boy, when I get to the offseason, I got to do this, this, and this. What are you thinking? Either one of you could start.
You go first because there's a lot to that.
so ask the first part again, Cap. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was trying to think of. Go ahead.
So you're Ryan Poles.
Yeah.
And now you go, I got 8 games left. I got Carolina's pick. I got my pick. Okay, where am I now? Like, what is my to-do list? What is your to-do list now the rest of the season going into the offseason?
I mean, honestly, where the Bears are, obviously in the first couple rounds, there's premier positions. I got to know if I need a quarterback first and foremost. And then I just need, Cap, I need guys who are I need difference makers. I need multipliers. I need better players. I have cap space, so I'll probably get one in free agency. I'll get somebody who can make the biggest difference in free agency. I got 2 or 3 guys picked out. And then I take the highest guys on my draft board when I come up to pick. But if I need a quarterback, then I have to take a quarterback first, which is hard, right? That's what sets us back. But for the Bears, man, I mean, again, we don't need another guy picking a quarterback for another guy, right? So go get your quarterback. And then the question is, does he need a coach? Does he need an offensive coordinator? I'm evaluating so much right now sitting in that chair because I am right now looking at the results from so many years, how long the Bears fans haven't had a playoff win, how long they haven't had a winning season, how many losses been dealing with. I got to change my team, change my culture. And Tom, I'll be honest with you, man. Right now, I'm evaluating everybody in the whole building, and I may have to change everything.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I mean, look, when you win 5 games in what? How many games has it been? It's been 26 games. Like, what are they, 5-21 in the last 2 years, I think is where they're
That's
at
correct.
right now at this point. Look, let's just say they're 2-7 now. Let's come to an agreement here how many games they'll win going forward. What would you guys say, conservatively? How many games?
I think they finished with 4 wins.
Okay, so let's say 4 or 5, right? Is that fair? Olin, you say 6. I mean, what? Somewhere in there.
I'm at 4 and 5. 4 or 5.
Okay, so 4 or 5 wins. That's 7 or 8 wins over the course of the last 2 years. You're going to have, whether it's Carolina pick or your pick, you're going to have 2 picks probably in the top 4, right?
Yep.
If you're Ryan Poles right now, with that as your projection, you've got to have a list of coaching candidates that you need to get on as soon as the season is over. Look, I don't like to call for people's jobs. It is what it is. You know, this is a business. It's, you know, it's not a charity run organization. You got to have a list of coaches. If you're not settled with the quarterback, if there's any indecision at all, you have to pivot and move. It's what we can say that Sean McVay did it right or did it wrong. The moment he lost confidence in Jared Goff, he had to move on from him. And that's what he did. And Jared's playing great football right now in Detroit. But the moment he lost confidence in his quarterback, they had to move on. If there's no confidence in Justin to be your guy for years to come, from Ryan Poles' perspective, in my opinion, you have to move on. And I go back to something Olin said as well. When was the last time everyone was on the same schedule? Like now you've got the general manager who was hired before the new president, but they're playing with a quarterback that was there before they got there. At the very least, if you have your president and you're going to maintain your general manager, if you're going to change quarterbacks, I would think you have to change coaches, and then you have to, because you can't bring in a new coach and tell him that Justin's going to be his guy, regardless of how he feels about him. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many dominoes to fall here. I think if you change your direction with your quarterback, you have to change the coach. That's just the way that I feel that things are going to be done. And then when you get into the draft, you've got so many areas of need. I'd like to see them find someone on the defensive line. Obviously, pass rushers are important, but you need a 3 technique that can wreck somebody's world on Sunday. I could go on a list, for an hour as to what they need, but I just don't think that you can continue to do things in a discombobulated fashion in the manner in which it's been done in the past. Like, are you gonna change quarterbacks again, but keep a defensive-minded coach who's had 5 wins or 8 wins or 7 wins or whatever it is? I just think that if you're going to change, make it massive change. That's just my perspective, and get everyone on the same page and bring somebody in here. If you're going to draft a quarterback, and someone that you trust can grow that quarterback, as time goes on.
Oh, do you think it has to be an offensive-minded head coach? Because I vehemently disagree with that perspective for this reason. Who's the hottest rookie quarterback in the National Football League? C.J. Stroud. His head coach is a defensive player, D'Amico Ryans, who'd never done that job before, and his play caller had never called a play in his life, Bobby Slowick Jr. And C.J. Stroud did an interview the other day and said, this guy has got me so locked in. Slowick has been amazing to deal with. I want the best fucking CEO I can get that can command a room, challenge 53 guys and galvanize them, and then get George's freaking checkbook out of his goddamn drawer and pay the best offensive coordinator I can get and build my thing the right way. John Harbaugh was a special teams coach. Bill Belichick was a D coordinator. Mike Tomlin, a D coordinator. Like, just give me the best goddamn coach. I don't care what he coaches. What do you say?
It's in a perfect world. I'd like it to be an offense coordinator, so I never lose my guy with my quarterback, right? But I will take the best leader, right? I'm going to take the best leader, CEO, especially at Halas Hall, Cap. We need to end there. You need the best leader, head coach, when you're at Halas Hall, right? We need a guy who can change the culture there, the losing culture. Now, Slowick may not be there for much longer. You're looking at Allen, right? Allen for the Buffalo Bills taking a little bit of a step back because Brian DeBall is over there in New York now, even though he's not winning. The Bills are like they're about to win a Super Bowl when he was there, right? So you do lose a little something from your quarterback when you lose that coordinator. So in a perfect world, I'm hoping to find that guy, Cap. But if I'm doing the hiring like you, especially at Halas Hall, if I'm hiring at Halas Hall, I got to find somebody not who can lead the team. He's got to be able to lead the whole building day in and day out because they have a long way to go with details and changing culture and teaching everybody how to win. And that's everywhere, man. That's the cafeteria. That's the locker room. That's the equipment room. That's the training room. Everything there has to change. The direction it's moving to change what's going on there right now.
Hey, by the way, Albert Breer said this morning he thinks there's a chance Mike Tomlin might be looking for a new challenge. If that's the case, I don't care how much fucking money he wants. Done.
That's fine. Don't bring Matt Canada with you because you're going to have the same offensive problems that you have now.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? So, look, I understand what you're saying. In a perfect world, like Olin described, you would get an offensive guy because then that guy's not leaving. You may lose Bobby Slowick Jr. after 1 year or 2 years, and then you're starting over again with somebody else who's in charge of the most important player in your total organization. So I'm for it. If you can find somebody, you just need to make sure. I don't want another first-time play caller, okay? So it would be my choice. If you want to get a good defensive coordinator or a good defensive mind as your head coach, I'm fine with that. But bring me somebody that's got some experience on the offensive side of the ball calling plays, especially if you're trying to groom a quarterback that you just used the second pick of the draft on. So I in a perfect world, if we're talking perfect world, I don't want to lose my offensive coordinator, like Olin said, 2 years into this growth period. So, I mean, there's no exact science with this. Find a good guy, a great leader, fantastic, and hope that he brings in somebody that is equipped and has the capacity to bring along your young, highly drafted quarterback in the entire offense. And if you could promise me to do that, I don't care what the guy's name is.
You know, while we're having this conversation, man, and Tom pointed it out while we're talking, and you think about all the problems they have there and everything they're going through, it's almost like if Justin Fields isn't the guy, then everyone has to go. And let Kevin Warren start all over again, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think Ryan Poles did a good job, but do you keep doing the same thing over and over again? You see what I'm saying? Like, even if you like guys there, should you just start everything all over again and do it the right way for once, right? Bring everybody in together and let's see if that works. Because what you've been doing doesn't work.
He didn't get to draft a quarterback, though, so I would probably keep him. But I understand that. I completely understand it. Olin, I highlighted a guy that I want in free agency, Connor Williams from the Miami Dolphins. He is an unrestricted free agent. Now, his market value says that this offseason, he makes $7 million right now. He's 26 years of age, and his market value is 5 years, $68 million. Is he a good enough center to be the guy you bring in and go, you're the hoss in the middle now?
Yeah, I haven't watched enough of Connor Williams. I would have to see how much is him and how much is everything around him, right? I'd have to really watch and see how he would fit in here because remember now, Cap, it's kind of like when I talk about they're good centers. I don't want to run anybody down, but you talk about Creed Humphrey, right? Like he doesn't ever see a 7-man box, right? I got to look at what blocks this guy's actually making and how much of it is we got to guard Waddle. You know, we got to guard Tariq. We got to Tua Tagovailoa gets the ball out extremely quick. He's got to match the things I got. I think Tua has the fastest release in the NFL, right? Tyreek Hill, obviously with Tyreek Hill and Waddle on the field, Cap. How many times do you think you see a loaded box, right? How many times do you think he has a one-on-one block against a head-up nose guard? Not very many times, I would guess. I haven't watched a ton of Dolphins film, but just by my guess, I know that they moved Eichenberg in there for a couple games this year, and it didn't slow down much, right? So I have to look at all those things, and then I decide, is he worth the money? I can put him in my offense, surrounded by my guys, and it'll work.
By the way, Cap, or talking about difference makers, I'm assuming then that Jim Harbaugh would be at the top of your list as well.
Absolutely not. Absolute character matters, man. What he did is unconscionable. And if he's truly involved with it, like I keep hearing from people I trust, and I was driving the fucking bus for that guy a month ago. No, abso-fucking-lutely not. You are not coming here.
What did he do?
What did he do?
No, what did he do? Yeah.
If he's part of orchestrating a sign stealing scandal where some guy from the Marine Corps would stand with the O coordinator when they've got the ball and stand with the D coordinator when the other team got the ball, and all of a sudden now you're beating Ohio State, you're a gutless, unethical prick, and you're not going to coach my football team.
Maybe you should change your signals, week to week or year to year.
Doesn't matter, Tom. It's integrity. What if I was able to get a hold of 100 PPM meters that they use for radio ratings? Don't tell anybody. And I put them on the ceiling fans in my fucking house, and they're going around, and I'm playing ESPN 1000. You're like, this fucking guy's ratings are like 30. He's killing everybody.
You should try it. Maybe you can
use that on a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, there's
You know what?
46 million people listening to
So-
Feldco Bears
this?
Recap Live.
You wouldn't want Bill Belichick then. You wouldn't want what Bill Belichick did when he was filming guys' walkthroughs and stuff.
The guy who's 81 and 96 when Tom Brady doesn't start in his career? No, I would not want.
No?
And at 72? No, thank you.
By the
Mike
way,
Tomlin? I want Mike Tomlin.
the guy who tripped someone running down the sideline one time in a game? Is that the guy?
I want Mike. Don't
Okay.
try comparing tripping to what
I'm
Jim
just-
Harbaugh's alleged to have
I'm
done.
just saying. By the way, do you know who actually kind of started that in our sport? Was George Halas. He always had a spy on the other team at all times. That's how they did it. I mean, the game is built on this. Like, honestly, can we? How about this? How about we agree? And I've said 100 times. I mean, Jim was my quarterback, so I am a self-confessed Harbaugh apologist on this front because I look at what he's done. You know, he won at San Diego University. He took the San Francisco 49ers to 3 consecutive NFC title games in 4 years.
He was stealing signs then. He was stealing helmets.
Right. And Stanford, he took Stanford's program and put them where they needed to be. And at Michigan, okay, they haven't won a national championship, but I think that based on where they are now versus where they were years ago, I think Jim has been a great coach wherever he has gone. And I would just say, why can't we get the entire report before we come to,
I said if he's involved, and I believe
I know,
he
but
is.
you got all worked up and you're sweaty and you're using
Yeah, man. You rode in on a high horse there, man.
Because I got standards.
And by the way, do you think
you're making the hard decisions like Ryan Poles? You make the hard decisions.
You think any of this shit is going on just at Michigan?
It doesn't matter.
Well, but would it change your opinion of him if, in fact, the reports that have been given to the NCAA are true as well? That Rutgers and Purdue were passing along Michigan signals to Ohio State. Would that change your opinion or no?
Were they breaking the rules, or were they picking up the phone and calling the coach going, hey, when they do this, they do that?
Don't know. I think they.
So what is the rule? What is the rule state?
You cannot go off campus to scout. And they had a guy on the sidelines literally filming the sidelines. You can't do that.
That's
So you think Michigan's the only team in the nation filming people's signals?
I didn't say that.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy talk.
I'm not saying that they are, but he got caught, and he's going to get his ass suspended
as
tomorrow.
Olin said, you know what? I hope you got some pads on, because when you fall off that high horse, you're going to hit something and break something.
He's going to get suspended tomorrow.
Well, and probably deservedly so if it was a rule. Probably, but it doesn't mean the man can't coach.
All right. We've got to.
By the way, Cap, in the NFL, you don't have those issues. You got the green dot on the back of your helmet. It's all, it's all technology at the NFL. We don't have to worry about those issues.
Yeah,
I didn't even know all those rules.
It just tells me about his character. Hey, it's time for our Vienna look ahead to the Carolina Panthers. And I am happy to announce my partnership with Vienna Beef this year. Great taste, flavor since 1893. Listen, folks. If you're watching the Bears game, you want to have taste of Chicago food. That's right. Mm-hmm. Go to viennabeef.com. Use code CAP23 at checkout. KAP23, 15% off your order. Chicago food, Bears, football, it goes well together. The Panthers roll in at 1-7. Their quarterback was god-awful the other day. Bryce Young was pathetically bad. Threw 2 pick sixes, 3 interceptions. And now we're hearing Brian Burns, their best single player, is out in the concussion protocol, will not play. Adam Thielen having a nice year. Not a great year, but a solid year. So is this, for me, it is a must-freaking-win game, Olin. They have to win. You've got their number 1 pick. You can't let this dog meat team roll in here and beat your ass.
Yeah, and then the last time they were on Thursday night, the Bears looked pretty good, right? So they're at home. Everyone could use a win. Their locker room, the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, my house here in Bannockburn. We can all use a win from the Chicago Bears.
Yes.
Look, it is. They got to beat this team. If you're looking for a matchup to watch, Derek, we just talked about Tevin Jenkins. This is the NFL, man. Tom will tell you too. Right when you think you're great, right when you think you're like Cap, you're riding a high horse with Jim Harbaugh. Somebody shows up who matches you, man. And Derek Brown for the Carolina Panthers. There is a matchup in this game. I was telling you guys, in the trenches for two really bad teams. There is a matchup to watch right there. Two young studs.
Yeah, Cap. I mean, look, I don't must win. Yeah, you gotta beat the Panthers because you want to maintain, their draft situation. You want them to win as few games as possible because you own their first round pick. The Panthers don't do anything well on either side of the football. So if you lose this game, I mean, it's more of a statement about you than it is about them. 283 yards and 17 points per game is all their offense is generating on a week in and week out basis. The offensive line has struggled. They've given up 29 sacks. They're giving up 28 points per game. Look, if there is a get right game for this Bears team,
this is it.
This would be it. And the Carolina Panthers would be that get right team for you. I'm not sure currently the way our team is playing that there is anything known as a get right opponent for them. But if there was one, this would be it.
Ola, do you like Bryce Young? Because I didn't like him in the draft. This is not me being a Monday morning quarterback. I didn't like it because of his size. And they said this week, I was listening to a couple different podcasts on NFL. They said that the owner overruled the general manager who liked C.J. Stroud better. He talked to Nick Saban one-on-one, the owner, and said, all right, we're going with Saban's guy. I wish owners would just stay the hell out of the room and let the football people do their job and then evaluate them on said moves. Do you like him?
I tell you what I don't like, man. I don't like Dom Capers' wig. His rug he wears on his head. Remember Dom Capers, the old Packers coach? What is he
come over?
No, Cap, like that, you don't want to hear those kind of things in football buildings, right? You don't want to hear that the general manager got overruled. And if that really happened, if I'm the general manager, man, I might have to walk away from that job. Like I can't let you pick my quarterback, right? I just can't let you do that. Has he looked good? No. Has Bryce Young looked good so far? No, but the whole Carolina Panthers, the coaching doesn't look great when I watch it. Their offense doesn't look good. They got some money in that offensive line. The middle of the offensive line is not very good, right? They have pretty good receivers, but that team just doesn't look good right now. They look like they're in disarray, and it looks like a team where someone's trying to run it that doesn't really know how to run it. So as far as Bryce Young and Stroud, they got a long way to go, man. They got a long way to go. They got a lot of learning to do. Guys can jump. Guys can come back down. We've all seen the quarterback development over the years. I think Denny Green said it best. We don't want to crown someone's ass too early. It's like halfway through their first year. Has he looked great? Was last week terrible for him? It absolutely was.
I was skeptical like you, Cap, just because of his size. I think he knows the position. He was, obviously was very accomplished at Alabama. I just don't know how somebody his size is going to be able to withstand that type of punishment over the course of 17 weeks, year in and year out. But Olin's right. Like you can't evaluate. You can't come to a long-term conclusion about anybody over a short period of time like this, I don't think.
Well, prediction time. I know Olin doesn't do predictions, but he does give us the key to the game. Give me two keys, OG.
Well, takeaways, right? After the last, I don't want to, we say the same thing every week, right? Can you run the ball? Can you protect the ball? And I want to see this Bears defensive line continue to grow. Tom just mentioned the stats, right? How many sacks the Panthers have given up. They struggled there. I thought Justin Jones, we saw him sometimes last week. I thought we actually saw pressure from the defensive line at home Thursday night. Hopefully they got the crowd noise. I'm going to make the defensive line this week the key to the Bears winning this game and dominating a young quarterback who's been struggling.
Yeah, good, because then maybe an idiot like Mike Lombardi could shut his freaking mouth. He's dogging this Sweat trade. This clown was a horror. I'd have been a better general manager. Holy shit.
Olin, you know what? He got his baseball manager. He's jacked up on Cubs Kool-Aid right now, and it's spilling over into the football conversation.
Take that, Milwaukee.
Yeah. Look, I think that I'd like to see the two young defensive linemen, the second and third round picks, to get more reps. They got 14 and 11 snaps each last week. So I'd like to see them get even more run in that rotation. as you try to develop these young guys. But look, I think that this is a game where you're a better football team than they are right now, and you can't say that on many weeks. But I think this is a game where they'll score 23, 24 points, and you'll probably hold an inept Carolina offense to 13, 14 points. So I think there's a chance the Bears can win a double-digit victory in this game.
Wow.
What is the difference between Bryce Young and Drew Brees' size?
That's a really good point. I would say probably Drew Brees. You would know much better than I. I haven't been around Drew a lot. Probably a little more stout. I think
beefier.
Yeah, I mean, and he's not, a giant guy, but I think Bryce Young is 185 pounds, probably.
Man. Yeah.
187.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, because with the change of the rules and stuff, you think these guys have a better chance, right? If they can develop. Now, you got to get the ball out, man, if you're that size, right? You got to get the ball's got to come out of your hand. You can't take shots. But they don't let people hit quarterbacks. It's interesting. It's just an interesting thing to watch. That someone like that went number one overall, that size, right? It's just, I guess Drew would be the example of someone who overcame it.
And he was a phenomenal leader, correct, Olin?
Yeah, he's the best quarterback. I mean, that's not saying much, but he was the best quarterback I've been around, man. He was extremely smart, worked hard, phenomenal leader, and knew everything about the offense. I think it was on this show or another show, the coach said we're going to install 2-minute offense, right? We're going to install 2-minute offense. And then Sean Payton and the guys left the room, and Drew stood up and installed it. So that's how well he knew that offense. I remember we opened that year. We opened in Green Bay, and we went down 14-0. And Drew came out to me and said, "Olin, we're gonna go no huddle." I don't think we stopped scoring, right? So like he was just phenomenal at that kind of stuff. So that's how you overcome it, right? You work hard and you get the ball out, and you know the game better than anybody else.
By the way, the line on the game right now, Chicago minus 3.5, total of 39. I think the game goes over. They better cover 3.5 because that's basically telling you get 3 points for being at home. It's telling you got these teams a half-point difference. That's not good.
No, I think that they win. I like the energy that their defense has showed. They're running the football. As long as you stay committed to running the football, they'll be able to run it against the Carolina Panthers. And here's hoping if it is Tyson Bagent that he's learned from his mistakes the last couple of weeks and he takes care of the football a little bit better than he has in the last 2 ball games.
All right.
Thursday is always a crapshoot, right? It's always a roll of dice, man. You don't know what team's going to show up.
Yeah.
Are you too old or they had Thursday night football?
That Thursday night football, and it was when I was older, and it was tough to go. It was tough to play those games.
How tough is it to get up that game day and go, "Oh God, I got to go"?
Well, it is hard, but I will tell you this: it's like another bye week. Once you get it done, you got that whole weekend, man. You got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you got Monday, Tuesdays off. For usually in the NFL, you're not hitting, so you got all those days to recover.
So your body feels a lot better going into the Lions game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Tommy,
sure.
they didn't have Thursday nights when you played, right?
God, I want to think. I think we did. I may be mistaken. Like my brain is scrambled quite a bit. I kind of remember playing the Packers on a Thursday night, but maybe I'm remembering incorrectly. I don't know. Jim Harbaugh used to throw me, medicine balls every now and again, and it used to get.
By the way, I ran the video. It was popped up on my Twitter feed of Todd Scott jumping the route after Ditka told Harbaugh to not call an audible. And Ditka after the game, if that happens again, there'll be changes and it will be permanent. And he went nuts.
Yeah.
We're gonna start sending you your worst moments in your career, the videos. When you did really bad on like TV shows or something. We're gonna start sending them to you. See how you like that.
Yeah.
Bring them on. There's a lot of them. Tom, the catch you made in the right back corner of the end zone, one of the best I've ever seen. You remember
against the Vikings?
Yeah, that game.
Yeah, we had them put away, if I recall, and then we just kicked it away. But for some reason, I don't know, Olin, if you felt the same, but there was always a team that I felt like I matched up well against for whatever reason, and always had a pretty good night against, and it was the Vikings. So, take it when you can get it.
I felt like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just their style of play was like speed and quickness, and they just matched when I had to play against big nose guards, that was always a battle, especially because I always seem to be in this like power run game offense as a quick center. It was the weirdest. I always tell Harry Easton when I talk to him, I go, Harry, like, how many powers did you have me blocking in the NFL while I could reach guys and pull the whole time?
Tommy, did you have a cool move like Cole Kmet's a Cubs fan, so he gives it? You didn't have a cool scoring move?
No, I very rarely was in the end zone, but when I was, it was just give the ball to the official and get to the sideline and make sure I had all my teeth and nothing was broken.
Did you guys see Joey Bosa do the sumo wrestler the other night? That was hilarious. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Awesome.
I remember the worst thing that got done on me was the grave digger. The grave digger. What was it? Gilbert Brown would make plays on you as a center, and he would grave digger at Green Bay, and the crowd would go nuts, man.
This is how you know you're old. I played with the Bosa boys' dad in college. John, he was a first round. He was a first round pick of the Dolphins too. I think it was like the 17th pick of the draft. It had to be like in 87 or 88 or 86, something like that. Good bloodline,
man. Yeah.
All right, you guys have a great night. Bears and Panthers on Thursday. We'll get back together on Tuesday.
Hey, Cap, have a decaf, will you? Have a decaf every once.
I'm not built that way, man. I'm not built that way. Take that, Milwaukee. F Jim Harbaugh, and here we go. You guys have a wonderful rest of your week, okay?
All right.
Thanks, Cap. Thanks, Tom.
Hey, Dad, we're running low.
We'll be all right.
What is going on here?
Insulation? I'm chilly.
I can't help you with the decoration, but I can help you replace these windows fast.
Right now, buy one window and you'll get one free. Plus, no interest until 2025. And we'll get it done Feldco fast.
Buy one window, get one free, and soon. Hurry. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Feldco Bears Recap Live is brought to you by Feldco, Chicago's home renewal experts. Call 866-4FELDCO. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. For all the right reasons, Four Seasons. Vienna Beef. Go to viennabeef.com and use code CAP23. That's KAP23 at checkout for 15% off your order today. And Dr. Pepper. Grab an ice-cold, refreshing Dr. Pepper today at a McDonald's near you. Westtown Bakery in Wheeling at the corner of Lake Cook Road and Milwaukee. Enjoy the best brunch Saturday and Sunday mornings.